Hi guys, how are you? So nice to connect to you. My name is Laura. This is Pleiadian Healer, and welcome to a new video. All right, so today we're going to talk about a few things. It's just the most recent insight that I got, and I journeyed a little bit into the far off lands. I just did a journey to read on a few things, let's put it that way. And I'm not really sure what to name this video, but we're going to have some insights on how we came here to Earth and about the fellow people that we interact with perhaps on a daily basis and a few other things. So what I saw very clearly is basically, the idea that a lot of people are under, I don't want to call it mind control program, but under the assumption that they volunteered to come here to Earth because of their vibration being on the same level as the Earth, because of the frequency matching. I don't know, you have like a million reasons that people come up with that yes, I volunteered to be here on Earth, and absolutely I did it out of my free will and all of those things, and no way in hell was I tricked to come here, or did someone convince me to come here, all those things. So, I've already been saying for the past 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, whatever, yes, it is very possible that we were tricked to come here. It is very possible that we were deceived to come here as well. But it was really hard to read on it and also on the reason. And it was really hard to get much of an answer. So I really dug into this with the latest insight that I received. And, we were lured here. We were kind of tricked to come here for sure. And it was more like a alluring deception, if that makes sense. So it was almost like a drug was kind of alluring us to come here. And the way they did it was actually, I guess, in a beautiful way, whatever you want to call it, but nonetheless, it was still a deception, and it was still for us to be deceived to come here. So almost like a mirror effect, almost, you look into a mirror, when you hold a mirror towards something, like let's just say I have a mirror right here and it's pointed towards a certain angle. So it's kind of pointed towards the wallpaper or a picture or whatever. You only see a certain angle in that mirror, right? You don't really see the full picture in that mirror. Now, some people can hold a mirror up into their face and then you see a certain angle, but then you don't really see this necessarily. You don't really see the back of your head. You don't, you need like more than one mirror to really get into all these different angles and to really understand the subject matter and your own body, or just the topic from all these different varieties and angles too. And that's kind of how I see it with this entire topic as well. So one angle is absolutely, I volunteered to come here. Absolutely. My vibration was matching Earth, and that's why I'm here. Those are just different angles. But I think to get a fuller picture of it, you kind of got to get rid of that mirror and just see it for what it is. Or you have to get like at least 10 different mirrors and kind of look at yourself from all these different angles, if that makes sense. So what I saw in this mirror reflection was, why wouldn't you want to come to Earth? It is so beautiful. It is so stunning. It is so gorgeous. Of course you want to come here. It's beautiful. And I do have to say, out of all the star systems and planets and other things around us that I have tapped into, I have tapped into the Arcturian energy. I have tapped into Mitaka. I have tapped into some stars of Orion. I have tapped into Sirius A and B, Pleiades, like all of those different star systems, Lyra, Andromeda, all of that. Out of all of those stars, and I know there are millions, gazillions, billions out there, and there are many that aren't even discovered, that humans can't even really comprehend, because it's not just one universe, it's like multiple universes and all of that. But out of the ones that I've tapped into so far, Earth has the most variety in the density of what it has right now. Meaning you don't just have, the desert, you don't just have the rainforest, you don't just have ice and the Arctic cold. You don't just have the heat of the tropical weather and all of that, but you have all of that combined in this planet and probably so much more too. So if you want to visit the rainforest, if you want to visit the desert, if you want to visit the ocean, you can do all of that here on Earth. So Earth has so much variety, which I seldom seen anywhere else. You know, when I tap into the Orion energy, I see a lot of Amazonian rainforest type of vibes, maybe ocean, but not so much the desert. When you tap into that Martian energy, it's all about the deserts. And yes, Mars, I guess, used to resemble Earth. We're not really sure. But when I tap into the Andromedan energy, it resembles more like a little fire pit. It could possibly have some nature. The Pleiades, very different. You know, so Earth is that one planet that has all of that combined, where you could just imagine, and even other things you can't really imagine. And, you know, having been to so many different places here on Earth itself, not just on other star systems and planets, whatever you want to call it, but having been to so many different places here, yeah, at this point, I think I almost did travel to 50 countries, a little bit less than 50, so 40 plus countries. And yes, I had a goal of making it to like 100 countries and all of those things, but I didn't want it to turn into a chore. So I kind of was just like, you know, I'm just going to visit whatever I can in this lifetime or at a certain age until I can't anymore. And I'm just going to be grateful for the things that I see and for the places I've seen and all the experience I've had so far. So just another thing, because I know some people are really into world traveling. Maybe not you guys, but you know, a lot of people that I follow are really into, okay, country number 100, country number 150, you only have like 30 countries left and all of that. And I'm like, I don't want it to turn into a chore, because sometimes, for example, like Mexico, I visited that country 3 times already. Sometimes you have to visit a country 10 times to really get the full gist of it. That's how beautiful a country can be, right? So having visited so many different places already and having seen a lot in the US, a lot in Europe, and, you know, a few other places too, I can really tell you it is beautiful, and Earth gets actually way more beautiful the further away from a civilization you are. Meaning the further away you are from towers, you know, like the cell phone type of towers, the further away you are from cities, the further away you are from any type of civilization, like the more you're into nature, the more real, pure, and beautiful Earth actually feels. And that must have been how Earth was probably a few hundred years ago, thousands of years ago, and all of that, you know, before the technology took over and the industrialization and all of that. So Earth is very beautiful. And some people were talking about Earth feels dead, or Earth doesn't feel real. I feel like I'm walking on a simulation. I feel like when I go into the park, it's not the nature that I used to know of. And sometimes I do feel that way, especially in the city that I am right now. Some parks don't feel like I'm actually in the real world. I literally feel like something did pass away and it's dead in a certain part somehow. You know, it doesn't feel like I'm actually in nature. But, you know, then again, I went to other remote parts over this past half a year or so that were far removed from technology. And I'm like, this feels so real. And nature is alive and Earth is alive. I can literally feel it while I'm here. So I do think it has a lot to do with how close you are to a civilization and how much technology is around that place for it to feel more real than other spots do. I think it also has to do probably with a few other things, but you know, that's just what I have to say to that. So Earth is one of the most beautiful places to be in this galaxy, in the universe, possibly in all universes combined. I'm not really sure, but it is definitely something very precious because it combines a lot of different landscapes, a lot of different climates, and a lot of different things, possibly Earth center points. And you know, some people talk about vortices, vortexes, all of that. So it just has a lot of amazing things on here for sure. And how were we tricked to come to Earth? Whoever is in charge, I'm just going to say they, could be AI technology, could be the controllers, could be a higher consciousness that kind of just dragged us here. But they convinced us to come here because it was alluring. It's kind of like a dance almost. It was like, yes, don't you want to go on a vacation? I literally saw it like we were all just here to be here on a vacation, and we got lost in it all. So they told us, the higher consciousness, whoever's in charge, told us, don't you want to be in, let's just say Hawaii, don't you want to be in Hawaii? Don't you want to go surfing? Don't you want to visit the desert? Don't you want to do? Don't you want to have fun? And it's almost like a dance, like, when you're on a vacation and you go out and you dance and you have a good time, it's kind of like you're not your true, well, you are your true self actually, but you're not your usual self that's stressed out because they have to go to work or they have to go to the grocery store, all of those things. It's kind of like, wow, I landed here and now I have to discover where to get my groceries from, how to live my life, where to get, the booze, if that's what you're into, where to have a good time, where's the best beach, all of that. And that's literally what it felt like when we landed here. So they told us, don't you want to be on beautiful Earth? Look how pretty it is. It has flowers, it has insects, it has animals, it has all of those things. Earth is so beautiful. Why would you not want to go here? And we were like, our souls were like, oh, absolutely, I want to take a vacation there. Absolutely, I just want to go there. Why would I not want to go there? So they were webbing us in kind of like a net, like, yes, come here, come here, come here, come to this, come here. Earth is beautiful. You absolutely want to be here. You don't want to miss this. And we saw it, we were like, already dancing and being like, yes, I'm so looking forward to Earth. I can't wait to do my vacation there. But for a lot of souls, it was an in and out. It was supposed to be an in and out. It was supposed to be a quick mission, a quick vacation, maybe 2 weeks, maybe extended for another 2 weeks, but it was not supposed to last the amount of years that it lasted, the amount of reincarnations that it lasted. So we were outside of Earth. And some people say Earth is not real. It's just a plane of existence. It's not, the globe itself is actually not real. We're actually not on Earth. We are on assimilation, all the things. I didn't really see it that way at all. Because I was asking about that. I was like, am I on the moon? Am I on Mars? Am I somewhere entirely different, like outside somewhere? Kind of like in the movie The Matrix, where they kind of plug things in and you're in assimilation. I didn't see it that way at all. I'm actually getting, I am on Earth, whatever that means. Maybe it doesn't mean the planet Earth. Maybe it just means a reality or whatever. But I did not get that I was anywhere else. Now, it could possibly be that other souls, other people are somewhere else, and they're having that reality projected to them like a projector screen. And so we're all working together in this simulated reality. But I got, for me, myself, I'm actually here. And I saw myself coming here very clearly too, because I saw how they allured and tricked me into it. And not just me, but I was in a soul group. So I don't even know how large that soul group was, but I have a feeling, I literally saw it like in a Star Wars movie, like Princess Leia and Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, all of that, they were only like 5, 7 people, maybe. I saw it kind of like a group of like that, like a very small group. And I think that group is my core soul group somehow. Now, it doesn't mean, especially communicating with you guys, communicating with, for example, my family, communicating with people around me, it doesn't mean they're not part of my soul group. It just means that core soul group of maybe up to 10 people, because I really did not see it as a whole lot of people at all. Maybe more were on the ship that we came from, because I kind of did see it. I literally, honestly, you guys, I'm not like making things up or whatever. It might seem that way. It might seem a little bit out there in this video, but I literally saw it like a Star Wars episode where, I was in style of Princess Leia, in a group of other souls. And our mission was to get in and out of Earth quickly, to complete our mission, and to get out. So There are a few things that happened. We were tricked into coming here. We were allured into coming here. We were like, yeah, why would you not want a vacation? That's literally what I got. Why would you not want a vacation on Earth? Who doesn't want a vacation on Earth? And you know, I think the reason that I love to travel so much is because I love the feeling of traveling. I don't really necessarily like every single spot. I mean, right now, obviously, with the current situations, it's been hard to travel. But before that, you guys, I kid you not, I would take for an entire year, I would take 2 months off. Not all at once, but I would be a total of 2 months within that 12 months period where I would be traveling 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 5 days here. Another, you know, I literally for 3 years straight, I had a routine because, you know, I was my own boss. I was like a freelancer. I was working for my own stuff. I wasn't working for the corporate cringe. I wasn't grinding in a company that wouldn't give me enough vacation days. I worked really hard to build that lifestyle too, though, where I was like, okay, I'm going to power through for 1 month straight or 2 months straight in order for me to have that 2 week vacation and not be bothered with anything at all anymore. So that was basically my lifestyle. And you guys know it too, because when this channel kind of blew up, you know, I was literally on this 6 months journey in Australia. So in a way, that was like my vacation of the year, but not really. It's a little bit different when you do that type of holiday. Yeah, different story. So back to the topic though. I think the reason and you know what I love about traveling? I don't know if I ever told you this. I don't necessarily love when I get to a spot, like, you know, I've been to a few dangerous spots, especially if you go to Latin American countries, even certain areas in Europe, possibly also here in America, obviously. But, you know, I can pick up on the vibes very, very fast. So for me, it's always an issue about bringing my camera gear, which can be quite expensive if you bring it to a poor country, because you don't want to be robbed. You don't want to be, I don't want to wear this. You know, I don't want to seem rich in any way at all, at least for a poor country. So I always have to debate, okay, is it worth it that I bring something that might be stolen or not in order to just get that one picture or in order to just have that experience with it? Or should I just leave things at home? So I don't really like that about traveling at all. I don't really like having to debate whether or not on this vacation I'm going to get robbed or I'm going to leave some stuff behind involuntarily. I don't like that kick at all. Some people actually do like the danger and adventure of traveling to those countries, you know, especially people who do travel to the poorer countries in Latin America. I mean, that's usually where it is, you know. And so some people really get a kick out of it, traveling to adventurous, dangerous areas. But for me, the kick about traveling really is the feeling when you get to that place, no one knows you, and you have something new to explore. And for me, honestly, it was all about the pictures too. You know, like taking nice landscape pictures, taking just nice memories and souvenirs of that trip and bringing that back home with me and showing it to people and being able to share my adventures, you know, possibly also like with the vlogs that I did lately, you know, just sharing how it is, how it feels to be there, how are the vibes. So I like that about traveling, that every day is a fresh start. You can redefine yourself every single day and all of those things. So it's kind of almost being addicted to exploring a new place and being in a new place, as opposed to, you know, being in the grind where we are now, you know, in the everyday activities, you know, being caught up with people that know us and all of that. So for me, traveling really brought me out of that comfort zone, and it still does, obviously. I mean, it's not over. It's just kind of a little bit put on hold right now. So it really took me out of that comfort zone. It really introduced me to new places, to new people as well. I love meeting new people. You know, for me, it really is all about that social interaction with new people, even if I don't always speak the language they do. But it's really important to see what is people's attitude towards life here. Why are people in Mexico, Latin America, even Southeast Asia? I mean, why are people so much happier in countries that are so much poorer than Germany and the US? Like, what's the psychology behind it? People who have less security in their life are way more happier, are happier than people who have one of the most secure jobs or environments around them, like they do here in the US or in Germany, specifically in Germany, actually. So, me being addicted to basically being almost like something like a travel junkie, I think has a lot to do with the fact that I'm slowly remembering, my soul is slowly remembering that I came here and it was only supposed to be a vacation. It was only supposed to be a quick in and out. I came here with that soul group of maybe 5, 7, 10, 15. I don't even think it was 15, but like a very small group of souls. And we were all together. And, some of them I recognize right now. I know I've met them, and I can feel that in my heart and my soul. I know they are part of that core soul group. So these are people that I met more face to face, I have to say, rather than online. But I know we go way back. We go way back from this lifetime. We go way back thousands of years ago. We go way back to the beginning origin of things. So I can feel that. I was always able to feel that. And other people around me were also sometimes able to feel that. They were able to pick up on that. Oh, you have this strong soul connection to this person. And it's going to be really hard to let that person go or forget about that person. So I call that my core soul group. It was basically like a Star Wars mission. And I remember I did have more of a female energy, if you can even say gender was a thing outside of Earth, but I had more of a female energy. And I remember putting a hood over me so that no one would recognize me here, meaning I was trying to, I guess, put something over my soul, kind of hide my soul or whatever, so that they or whatever consciousness was in charge wouldn't recognize me and wouldn't be able to track me really. So whether or not they're able to track me now and they recognize me from lifetime to lifetime is another thing. I'm actually not, after seeing that and seeing how I literally put a hood over like my face, like my soul, and then I came to Earth, I was like, maybe they don't know who I am, or maybe it took them a really hard time to catch up to who I was really. And, during this entire experience, the attacks on my sacral chakra were intense. And I already talk about that in other videos where they really tried to get to our sacral chakras, the more we're getting to the truth. The further we're digging into the truth, the more I feel an attack here in my sacral and root chakra area. I'm just saying chakra because that's kind of the places where they are. Some people have their chakras removed and everything. I think even having chakras removed, you would still feel something in that area because the attacks are like really targeted towards the womb area. At least they have been with me over the past year or so already, that I've been really digging into these kind of things. And now I recognize that as such too. So I know I was very close to discovering the truth, and I was very close to the truth as well. And so me and my little soul group of people, it was basically like a Star Wars episode. We all looked very different, like maybe even like that, teddy bear type of creature. And then we had, I don't even know if we had a robot. I don't think we did, but we definitely looked all very different. So there are definitely appearances that you have outside of Earth that you can reincarnate in a physical body somehow and appear like literally I literally think these Star Wars movies are based on not fiction but on a true story, after seeing how we were kind of in those different bodies too. And so it was our soul group that was lured here, and I do think that happens with almost everyone, by the way, not just me, not just a minority of people, but I can tell you how I was lured here. And then I can probably tell you that you were lured here the same way, because if it happened to me, it happened to almost everyone. Maybe there's a very small percentage of people, like 0.00001%, that really did volunteer to be here, but I think the majority of people did not. And we were tricked here because they were basically holding the mirror up to us, but they were only showing us one aspect of Earth. So they're showing the mirror to us and they're like, don't you want to be on beautiful Earth? Don't you want to be in Hawaii? Don't you want to swim in the ocean? Don't you want to see what flowers really look like? I remember flowers was something that I really wanted to see. So maybe you don't really have flowers outside of Earth, is what I'm getting. Maybe flowers is something very precious to Earth. Don't you want to see all of the structures, insects, animals that we have on Earth? Yes, you do? All right, your vacation is booked. You are leaving then and then and then. That's basically how it went. Not necessarily that way, but the mirror was shown to us and the flowers were shown to us, to me specifically. And we all got lost in it. We all got lost in this reincarnation cycle. We separated, we split up. Like our core soul groups split up so many times throughout these millions of lifetimes that we've had. And I don't know who said it or where I got that from, but someone said a reincarnation cycle here is actually 1 billion years. I got that same number. And I remember the pain that I felt when I knew that I would have to leave someone behind for 1 billion years because they wanted to go to Earth without me. And I was like, I can't, no, 1 billion years is too long. So even when you are outside of the construct of time and space and all of that, even if you are outside of the matrix and you're almost a part of source again, even then, 1 billion years seems like too long of an eternity to bear. You know, sometimes 10 minutes can seem like an hour. Sometimes 10 minutes can seem like a second. Sometimes 10 minutes are like nothing. Sometimes 10 years are like a blink of an eye. But 1 billion Earth years, even outside of Earth, and even if you are not incarnated in any body, and even if you are a soul, even then, 1 billion years is too long. That's how long it is. And it's very hard to understand how long it is. And for me, I got a feeling that I had such heart pain when I thought about the fact that I would be separated from this other soul for 1 billion years and that they would be on Earth for 1 billion years. And only then maybe I would have the chance to see them if they were able to make it out. That I just decided I'm going to come here no matter what. So it was a mix of things where our soul group was tricked into coming here because of the vacation thing and because of another significant soul deciding they wanted to be here and me deciding I did not want that separation of 1 billion years. I would said, even if we would be separated here on Earth, we wouldn't even be reincarnated in the same lifetime. We would be on different parts of the world, all of that. But at least we would still be on the same planet or in the same plane of existence somehow, that we could still kind of feel each other. You know, that still seemed like a better deal to me than waiting outside of the matrix for 1 billion years or longer. So the thought of 1 billion years really gave me a huge heartache, and I was almost not even able to breathe. I had to do like a breathing exercise. I was almost panicking and an anxiety attack, not just because of that, but just overall the world itself. You know, a lot of tears did come up during the specific journey where the world is crying right now. There's a lot of pain right now in the world because of the disease the disease that's going on, because of people's lives having been destroyed or having to be rebuilt from scratch right now, all of those things. There's a lot of that pain going on that I picked up on. But I mean, there were a lot of tears and there were a lot of breathing exercises that I had to do just to calm me down, meaning half of the world is basically in a panic attack or an anxiety attack right now with what's currently going on. So this was a tale on how we were tricked into coming into Earth. And, you know, I did see myself. So we were hiding. It was like a small group of us, you know, basically in whatever ship or however we came here. Cause I do think we had like a little, I don't want to say UFO, but you know, so we had something, we had some weird, we kind of did come here somehow in a spaceship or whatever. That could be figuratively too, you know, that the last reincarnation really was on the Alpha Centaurus, and then we kind of just came here in our thing, and then we projected our souls here, and then we were born in physical bodies. Like all of that can be more of a projection and more of an imagery for me. But we came here, and the original intent wasn't a billion years, by the way. But I got outside of the matrix already that it would be a billion years until I would see this person or this soul again. And that didn't sit well with me at all. So our original intent when we did all come together was, okay, it's just going to be a quick mission a quick in and out, and we'll go back to where we came before that. We don't have to stay here forever. It's just going to be a timeout, a nice vacation. We're going to enjoy the flowers, like smell the roses, and that's going to be it. And that has turned probably into a billion-year-long cycle or more, meaning that's how we got trapped here. And while we were trapped here, we completely lost ourselves. All the sins that they talk about, like people slaughtering others, the jealousy, the envy, I do feel we just get trapped in that. And it is because of the visitors, the other aliens that I already discussed in my YouTube live. So the visitor aliens and all of that, because they are just really distracting us from the beauty of Earth and from the beauty of our mission. But we like, as souls, we just got trapped here. We got trapped in jealousy and envy. We were literally, we were even attacking each other in previous lifetimes, where one person, kind of murdered another one of our own soul group. This is like thousands of years ago, maybe even millions of years ago. And then we just got trapped in that, and trapped in our ego. Now, ego's not a bad thing, but in this case, I really saw it as we got trapped in our ego and, wanting to be, people say, not the gods, or like giants, gods, like all of these creatures that walked around, like wanting to be that or embodying that somehow. And I do think God is just like another. There are so many gods out there, so I do think it's just another comparison, or it's just another euphemism or whatever for the souls that were here originally, in that sense, or the souls that kind of like came here on an original purpose or mission somehow. So you just kind of get trapped in the ego, and you get trapped in all of that, and you get trapped, when you're, let's call it old soul as opposed to the newer souls, you just kind of get trapped in that, and you just lose yourself over and over again over these so many incarnations that you had. You just lose track of your pure mission. So you kind of have to look at it this way before it gets too confusing. We were tricked here. Sure, you don't have to stay a billion years. You can leave after 2 weeks. Oh, great. We want to smell the flowers. We want to go to the ocean, all of that. Boom. Now we're here. And 2 weeks is possibly only one incarnation, by the way. Now we're here. And the veil came down. We don't know who we are. Oh, I recognize you on a soul level, but I don't recognize you as my brother. I recognize you as someone I want to date, for example. Oh, I recognize you on a soul level, but you actually killed him off in a previous lifetime, and that's why I'm still holding a grudge against you. But I don't know why, because in this lifetime, I don't remember any of this. So I'm resentful. Something like that, okay? So, wham, the veil came down. We had our beautiful bodies. I do think we had beautiful bodies back then too. And I mean, the human body in and of itself can be quite beautiful compared to like an alien body, at least. So people are talking about light bodies and all of that. I do think our soul carries over into our physical body for sure. When people just pass away and die, their skin is gray, is like wax. It's not the same as when a soul is actually in their body, right? Yeah, it has to do with you not taking any breaths, and you don't looking good and all of that. I mean, you see that when you're very sick too, that your entire skin color, all of that changes. But I do think a lot of like the what gives our body life is our actual soul in it. Let's put it that way. Which, people talk about the aura and the energy field, which is why some people have more of an energy field and radiate more than other people do, have more of a glow around them, those kind of things. So, wham, we forgot about who we were. We forgot we were actually from there. We forgot that we were looking onto Earth from the outside, and that this was just supposed to be a quick mission. And that's how they got us. They trapped us here. They tricked us into coming here, and they literally were able to trap us here because of the, forgetting, because of us, whatever, call it mind wiping, whatever, because of us forgetting the pure essence of who we are, and for us developing egos and personalities and a different type of consciousness due to that. So we've been stumbling around, forgetting a large part of us for a long time, but there were incarnations where we were closer to our true selves than in other ones. You know, I like to talk about the medieval ages because the medieval ages for me are always so telltale, how people literally forgot who they were, because people in the medieval ages only lived like 20 years, 15 years, 30 years, 60 years, 50 years. The lifespans in the medieval ages were a joke compared to what they were before. You know, before that, I do think people were able to live more than 100 years, 200 years, possibly even 800 or 900 years. But then as soon as the Dark Ages rolled in, you had the diseases, you had the bad nutrition, you had people just not surviving much. You know, people dying in childbirth, people dying as children, people dying in their 50s and their 40s, you know, all of those things. So we're getting more and more to the lifespans, I guess, that are more natural to us, but we're still a very far way off from that. But then even now, you know, you hear reports about people who turned 120 years old or 110 years old, and that's actually more natural to us than only turning 80 years old or 90 years old. So I do think we are able to turn older than the mainstream makes us believe. And so when we came here, wham, the veil came over us, because that was, I guess that was the condition, but we may have forgotten about that condition, or we didn't read the fine print, or we were like, yeah, that's no problem because our soul is so strong, we'll remember even with that veil. Maybe we thought we would still be able to remember who we were, because we were like, yeah, I don't think this veil is really going to do much to me. I think it's not going to mind wipe me the way I thought. But we underestimated the veil, and we underestimated them being able to actually trick us here and successfully trap us here the way they have so far. So that came over us, and then we forgot. And I do think we have superpowers, and we had a lot of superpowers. You know, we are able to accomplish a lot of great things. You know, some people are talking about walking on water, or making gold out of nothing, those kind of things. You know, I don't know about that, but we are able, we are way more powerful than we think we are. But due to the reincarnation cycle and possibly the 1 billion years we've already been on this here on Earth, we completely forgot about it. And every time we come closer and closer to it, like during ancient Atlantis, ancient Avalon was the last time, ancient Lemuria, wham, the world blows up and we're catapulted out of that reality again into a different one, into the next one. So it's almost like a video game where it's like back and forth and back and forth, and we can't really make it all the way up to level 10 if that's where we want to go. And we've been trying it for a really long time. So there is a power to, as a group, sticking together and finding that original soul incarnation group that you came here with, for sure. Not saying that that's like the goal that you should set yourself right now after this video, but for me, it just showed how important it was and how crucial it was for me to actually already meet a few of those people in this lifetime too. And to really convey that feeling of instant soul recognition too. So I'm not necessarily talking about romantic at all, but more like we go way back and I know we do, that type of feeling. And yeah, so I want to talk more about what I saw outside of the Matrix a little bit, and I want to talk more about other things too, but I think I'm just going to leave it at that for you guys. In the essence, how did we come to Earth? I think that kind of sums it up. If you have more insight on it, let me know. If you have questions on it, let me know. If it resonated, let me know. Or if you think you came here somehow else, let me know. But until then, I hope you have a beautiful day ahead. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for your support. And until then, bye guys.